What is up, guys? Crypto John here with a quick market update. So not that much has been happening over the weekend. There is one major occurrence though that I kind of want to bring to your attention, and that's that currently the biggest thing to keep your eyes on with Bitcoin is this ascending wedge that we've got going on right here. So we've got some resistance at the 6,500 level, and we've been following an ascending trend line for a couple of months, probably 3-4 months maybe now, as you can see right here. We passed through the descending zone right here, which was probably 10 or 11 months. So that's a pretty big deal. That's a very bullish sign. But the biggest thing to keep an eye on here is whether this resistance holds, which I don't think it will. We're looking pretty bullish in my opinion. Or whether we get a breakout, which I'm assuming will happen, kind of like this situation right here. And the important thing to realize too is that we're right at the tail end of a high volatility phase of the market. Okay, so there's 5 phases of the market. The one that is most relevant right now is high volatility. So as you can see, after this sort of crash right here, we went through a period of high volatility where there was a lot of bouncing around back and forth. And as we get closer and closer to now, you see that the volatility decreases, right? And this is a sign that we're slowly entering into an accumulation phase where it's ideal to accumulate a large number of cryptocurrencies, altcoins, things like that. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now, is if we can cross through this resistance. The time frame for this looks like it's going to be about a week maybe. So we will probably have some more sideways action for a while. It's not very exciting, not very fun to talk about, not very sexy, but that's just reality sometimes. There was a little bit of news that I'd like to go over. So first things first, we see more fear regarding crypto. So if you look at this, Colorado regulators took action against 4 ICOs on Thursday. And Colorado has racked up quite the reputation for being anti-crypto for some reason. But again, I'm really not too concerned. I mean, the internet, I think, is a great example to compare cryptocurrencies to, because when the internet first came out, there was all sorts of fear and people were afraid that everything was going to get hacked, and there would be people using it for child pornography and selling drugs and things like that. And just by the nature of technology, any new innovation is typically pioneered by criminals because they need every edge they can get for a high risk, high reward activity. So obviously there is going to be fear over people that start ICOs and, take everyone's money. We can look at BitConnect. But funny enough, I think the biggest thing to be afraid of in crypto isn't ICOs. It's actually people that have cult-like followings and push these scams, right? So I'm not going to name names, but you guys probably all know who I'm talking about. The guys that pushed BitConnect throughout 2017 and ended up being able to buy, Lamborghinis and make a ton of money recommending this bullshit, and then it collapsed basically. Billions of dollars disappeared overnight like that. And what do you know? These guys deleted all their fucking videos that they had about BitConnect. And maybe one day I'll make a video calling them out. But for now, just keep in mind that, I don't really think that this negative news is too big of a deal. We're going to see a lot of cracking down on crypto. It's fine. Happened with the internet. It happened with cars when cars first came out. They had regulations on, like the British, for example, had a regulation where you had to have a man running in front of a car with a red flag warning everyone about the car. When the cars first came out in Great Britain. So there's always going to be laws and rules and regulations. I don't care. I think that crypto is the future. It's pretty obvious. Second is that there's a potential Bitcoin Cash fork that could be happening. And to be honest, I don't think that Bitcoin Cash is the future, as people say. I think it's just honestly kind of another coin that's going to come and go. But it does have some major backers, obviously. So this is something to keep in mind, that if this does happen, if we do a fork, it's going to already weaken a pretty weak community. People seem to be fairly divided over Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash. It does have its proponents. They say that it can, handle more transactions, et cetera. But to be honest, just looking at how fast Bitcoin has been adapting to the current market conditions and needs, I don't think that Bitcoin Cash is going to be relevant within probably a couple of years. I think it's just going to fade away. I still have a little bit as just as holdings for the next bull market that we're about to enter into, but overall, I'm not too concerned. Okay, so the 11th today was not a good day for crypto. It wasn't a horrible day. I mean, we've seen much worse, obviously. Bitcoin, of course, being the weather vane for everything that's going on. And as I said, I think the main thing to expect is, just so for example, looking at this this candle right here, that looks like a bullish candle. It's not quite a bullish doji, but the day isn't actually ended yet. We still have 17 minutes, so we could close that $20, $30 price gap and get a dragonfly doji, which would be a bullish sign. Now let's actually break it down to a smaller time frame and take a look at what's going on. So okay, so we've got a pretty significant doji right here, and that usually means that we don't know which way the market's going to go in the short run, because this is a shorter time frame. So we could end up retesting this trend line right here, or we could end up bouncing up. Again, I'm not too concerned. I think that in the long run, we are going to clearly end up bouncing over this resistance right here. So if you are looking to do a swing trade, you could actually get in right around here. Maybe wait a little bit and see if we go down lower, but I wouldn't do that. I just get in and then maybe aim for a quick 4 or 5% on margin. If you want to use margin, you can get some good gains like that. Let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash. So after the recent news of the fork, obviously it took a little bit of a toll, not too much, but the main thing with Bitcoin Cash right now, I think, is it's just bouncing between these two resistance and support zones, which signals that it is in an accumulation phase, and that means that it would be ideal to start accumulating Bitcoin Cash for the next bull run. I would wait personally. I would just wait until it comes down to this zone right here, because as you can see, it's kind of testing back and forth a little bit. So I'd wait until it gets a little bit lower. Looks like there is a miniature support zone right around this point right here that it may be retesting. But again, I'm not too big a proponent of Bitcoin Cash. Let's take a look at Ethereum. So we did actually break out of the descending sort of bear channel right here that was holding fairly strong for 4 months roughly. So that is a very bullish sign. And I think that, again, it's not a coincidence that it mimics the fact that Bitcoin just broke out of the descending trend line as well. So, again, treat Bitcoin as a weather vane. That is a major key. That's what you always want to do when it comes to trading cryptocurrencies. The next thing that I would expect Ethereum to do would probably be to just follow Bitcoin. And once Bitcoin breaks through the sort of ascending wedge we've got going on, expect Ethereum to pop off maybe, it's hard to estimate for sure, but I'd say at least 15-16%. Seems like there's a little bit of resistance going on in this 250 to 40 zone right here. So expect it to pop off maybe between 15 and 20% when Bitcoin does break through its resistance. Let's take a look at Zcash. So again, these all tend to mimic Bitcoin, right? So we had a descending trend line right here, and then around the time that Bitcoin broke out of the descending trend line it was suffering through, so did Zcash. And if we extend the the support a little bit, we'll see that again it's kind of just playing around at the support level. Again, it's similar to Bitcoin. So we want to see what Bitcoin does, and then obviously that will guide our investment strategy. Now let's take a look really briefly at let's make some predictions for the next bull run, because as you guys know, if you've been following my advice, if you've been taking my course, you know that there is 5 phases in the market, and that will largely dictate my investment strategy. Okay, so let's use some Fibonacci sequences to predict potentially, where the fuck is it? There it is. To predict where we think it might end up going for the next bull run. Okay, so This is based off of chaos theory, where you try to generate some predictability with an uncertain environment and data set. And it looks like 30K could be a pretty nice target to aim for the next bull market. I'm convinced it'll be a lot higher than that, because once we enter into a bull market, the news is going to start shilling cryptocurrencies like we saw in 2017. So, we could end up hitting, I think 100K is the next psychological number. The fib the fib sequence doesn't go that high in Coinigy, but at least 50K, maybe 60K would be a good target to aim for, I think. So that's why I'm accumulating plenty of Bitcoin. We could easily see a 10x with not only Bitcoin, but many of the other altcoins. So that's my market updates. As always, guys, please give me a like, subscribe. I just started this channel pretty recently, so I'm learning and adapting and changing. If you want to check out my course, we've got about probably 60 students in our insider trading group. Not insider trading like, like Goldman Sachs or something, but we've got some traders that, we collaborate and work together and share ideas and things like that. So if you want to check those things out, they're in the description down below. You can also go to getbitcoinmillionaire.com and check it out there. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.